Hi, welcome to Vea here. I have a space for you where we have a little bit of intuition and truth, and we try to find some transformation and clarity. I do channel for the collective and lots of threads of energy and different scenarios and situations. So please only take what resonates with you and leave the rest here and use your intuition to discern. Okay, I heard tie yourselves up. That could be in a kinky kind of way, but I think it's more in our behaviors and in our emotions. Although, okay, um, let's see. I get 1111, 1111. And I get that this is really a story about a divine masculine and a divine feminine. And they know each other's shadow sides. They know each other's sides that are hidden, is what I get. And naturally, and I feel like there's still an unconditional love between them, is what I get. Okay, so I did pull out here the Eight of Swords. So first of all, this is a bit of a full moon reading. So 96% of the moon is in an earth umbrella. It's in an eclipse. It's not quite a full blood moon, but it's close enough that the hidden half still speaks. The hidden half still speaks. So here's your eclipse message. The spread begins with the Eight of Swords. So let's look at what to release with the Eight of Swords. There's not other people locking the door is what I get, or closing the door. It's a story that this divine masculine, divine feminine have kept repeating to themselves, so they don't have to move or change is what I get. And they each have their own pieces that they do differently. The eclipse is not asking you to fight the ropes. It's asking you to notice that they were never tied too tightly. And again, I don't know why I'm getting that sexy kind of mix of, maybe I didn't really tie your ropes too tight because I want you to undo them and take me down. I don't know, but I think it's more emotional though, where, you know, you're asking yourself to say, look, let's be honest with myself. Let's think about how I think about myself and why I think and act the way that I do. Do you repeat behaviors that avoid you looking at something that you should change? That could be all sorts of behaviors like substance use. It could be compulsive behaviors, avoidance through too much work, or staying busy. All different ways that manifests for different people. I feel like with the divine masculine, it was manifesting in some maybe toxic behaviors online. And with the feminine, I think that it was more substance involved, is what I get. Okay, it's you trying to escape something in your life that you have some shame, some feeling of shame around, is what I get for those two. Okay, the next card here that I pulled out was the High Priestess. The High Priestess there. So what's being revealed? So something's sitting behind the veil the whole time, and you already know. They know that about themselves. You know, they're essentially, their body knew it before their mind really knew it, is what I get. And the eclipse isn't delivering any new information. It's turning the lights on in a room where you've been living with your eyes kind of half closed. You don't need to demand a louder sign. The quiet one is the real sign. You already know what's being avoided to some extent, is what I get, both of these people in the relationship. The shadow rising. So I got the moon. The moon is the shadow of this lunation, the fog, the projections, the fear that if you see clearly, you will lose the version of yourself, essentially, that needed the fog. So this Pisces eclipse energy loves to blur the edges. This is not a defect. It's kind of like a method. What looks like it's confusing is often just an old identity dissolving before the new one has a name or is consolidated. The thing about this, it's hard to release an old version of yourself. It's hard to release old habits and patterns. Um, and it's hard to release it without having the new full version or timeline of yourself yet, because there's that fear of the unknown. Um, how are you changing? How are they changing? So I get in this connection that they're not in union, that they're kind of on their own, and there's an unconditional love and they're more friends. But there are romantic feelings. So temperance is what you're changing. A lot of this happens while you sleep, right? You learn, you process something new, you sleep, you consolidate it. Make sure you get lots of rest and hydration. It'll make the transition a little bit easier for you. Both of you are tempering yourselves. No dramatic collapses anymore, I hear. You're being blended into something and someone as a person who can hold both the grief of the old and the new cup without either spilling, is what I get. The change is chemical, it's not theatrical anymore. So your nervous system is starting to regulate, both of you. And that adrenaline rush, or that addictive adrenaline and upset emotions and having a big cortisol spike, that's starting to go away. The addictive cycle is changing to that drama, is what I get about both themselves and whoever else they're interacting with in their lives, is what I get. So what to take with you is the Ace of Cups. So this is what's going to arrive once you stop gripping onto the old story or old timeline, is what I get. A clean emotional beginning. It might be a new person, but for this two that I'm speaking about purely, it's themselves. It's a new capacity within themselves, the ability to feel without drowning in their feelings, and to have a long sip after a big drought, is what I get. So they're building themselves to make a strong connection once they do have union. And I feel like there will be union for this couple at some point. So where the portal opens is Judgment. So Judgment is the horn, right, sounding. But it's not a punishment. It's really your recognition. Part of you has already crossed over. It's calling the rest of you to catch up. That's what this Judgment card is about. The eclipse doesn't end a chapter so much as it announces that the chapter's already ended and that you are sitting in the last paragraph of the old chapter, and to step out fully into the new chapter is what I get. So to sum all this up, it's a beautiful transformation for these people individually who I feel are preparing themselves for a union at some point, and stop waiting for permission to leave the room you already outgrew. And the moon is dark enough tonight that you can see the door, right? You can see the door, go through it. Lots of love. If this resonated with you and you want more clarity, click the link in the bio.